When we think about cost, we often think of dollars and cents. But what about the cost of our health, or on the quality of our life, or even the longevity? We usually think about people being overweight as being unhealthy, but have we really thought about the reason why these people are unhealthy? Are they actually unhealthy, or is that just something that we've been pushing for people to lose weight? Stay tuned in this video, and I'm going to dive into the science of it and try to understand, is obesity really unhealthy for you or not?
Go to concerts with your great-grandchildren. That's amazing.
Beer itself is a tremendously powerful lever. And when I say a lever, I mean a chemical lever.
It's not that they don't get heart attacks. They just don't get them when they're 65.
That a regular gratitude practice can enhance many, many aspects of our physical and mental health.
I mean, there is simply no better elixir for metabolic health than being active.
Between the ages of 30 and 50, you're usually at the peak of your health. And sometimes we carry excess amount of weight, but how does that weight affect us in terms of our health? There's studies out there like the Harvard Obesity and Heart Disease study that was done that showed clear links between being overweight and several health issues. But why? Why does being overweight cause these issues? The first thing that we need to look at is diabetes. So excess amounts of fat, especially in the belly area, makes our cells resistant to insulin, a hormone that really does control our blood sugar. When this happens, it leads to diabetes or type 2 diabetes. The next health issue that usually comes up when we look at people that are overweight is high blood pressure. When people are overweight or they have excess amount of fat on them, it means that the body has to work extra hard to make sure everything is functioning well. So there's more pressure within the body. So the more mass that you have, the more the heart has to pump blood. More work for the heart means higher blood pressure, and that's the bottom line. The third thing is heart disease. Cholesterol and other heart disease markers rise with weight. Our arteries get clogged, making heart attacks more likely. And this is usually contributed towards the types of food that people are eating, which are usually high in saturated fats, which start to contribute negatively towards our heart or our cardiovascular system. The fourth one is cancer, and being overweight can cause inflammation in the body, and this can lead to cell changes that sometimes result in cancer. You see, obesity is just one symptom of an underlying metabolic issue. Not everyone who is obese is metabolically unhealthy. Similarly, not everyone who is metabolically unhealthy is obese. There's a lot more to metabolic health than just our weight, and we need to understand that. So going back to the 1960s, even before obesity became a buzzword it is today, Gerald Reaven, a Stanford endocrinologist, observed that heart attack patients often had a mix of high fasting glucose levels, high triglyceride, raised blood pressure, and belly fat. The more of these issues that were present in his patients, the higher the risk of cardiovascular disease. Our lifestyles often push us into routines that aren't great for our health, and it usually takes years and years of misuse for us to start to notice the differences. Long working hours, less movement, quick fast food meals that you get because you're unable to cook at that time because you're so busy. This just starts to compound year and year, and I've talked about this in my previous videos about how it kind of creeps up on you by the time you're 50 or 60 years old. But there is good news out there. You got to understand that every little positive change does count. And we've talked about this, the movement is so critical to health that it makes a big difference. Even if you decide to take the stairs versus the elevator, it makes a big difference on how your lifestyle starts to develop over years and years. Quality of life takes a dip as we pack on more pounds. But reversing that, it's not about being that model thin. It's about being you healthy, which really means that you got to find what works for you and something that you can sustain for the long run. You need to be able to find what works for you. And I've said this many times, some people enjoy CrossFit, some people enjoy Zumba, but the important thing is that people are moving and doing resistance training in whichever capacity that is. I've had many clients that have lost 10 or 20 kilos in their life, and their quality of life has drastically changed. It's from basically being able to do things that they would like to do, and being more comfortable in their skin, to feeling more energetic and sleeping better. And it becomes a cycle of goodness that just starts to compound over years and years of doing that. So it doesn't have to be anything drastic in the middle. It can be very minute changes that you do from day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, that starts to compound in goodness towards better health and longevity. I know for a lot of people that do have excess amount of fat that it can be daunting to go into a gym if you don't know what you're doing about the food. But believe me when I say that any small changes that you make and make them as minute and as unfelt as you can will start to contribute to better habits. So the days that you want to start and you say, tomorrow I'm going to start to be healthy, why don't you decide to park a bit further from work? So take a 10-minute walk to work and do that for the next few weeks until it becomes a habit. And once you've mastered that and it becomes part of your lifestyle, then you can move on to something else. And it could be, for example, adding a salad into your diet if you don't have that. These small changes that people can do, and this is probably one of the bigger mistakes that I've found, is that people try to take on too much. The New Year's resolution comes in. They want to start going to the gym every single day. They want to start eating healthy. They want to quit smoking. They want to sleep more. And there's so many layers of things that they need to do. It becomes overwhelming. And within a couple of weeks, they fail at everything and they feel frustrated. But if you make small changes and those small changes just start to accumulate over time, then you're not going to feel what's happening and it's not going to feel daunting and difficult to do. Eventually you'll start to have a better lifestyle, and it takes small steps to get there. Believe me when I say, if you're still young and in your 30s or 40s, things are just going to keep getting difficult if you keep putting this off. And if you smoke and if you don't eat healthy and if you don't move consistently, I'm not saying playing once in a while football or playing paddleball, whatever it is, that you need to be consistent with your activities. And that means at least every single day that you're doing something that adds value into your life. So understand that now is the easiest time for you to do it, because as you get older, this is going to get harder and harder. And when you lose that quality of life, it affects not only you, it affects everybody around you. That was kind of summing up all the videos that I've done the last few weeks about fat and fat loss and fat gain and all that stuff, and understanding how you find how many calories you need in the day and how to calculate that and how to track your food. I've done that in previous videos, which you can look at. And having said that, I wanted to do this final one about longevity and how being overweight can affect your health in a negative way. So back to the main point that we were trying to make, that even if people are overweight, it doesn't mean that they're unhealthy. So I hope you enjoyed the video and found it beneficial. I've done a whole bunch of videos that we're talking about fat and how to lose fat, how to gain, how to track your calories, how to know if you're over or under in terms of how much you're eating, showing you that the combination of foods that you have, whether they are carbohydrates, if they are fats, it doesn't matter what you're having, as long as you're below your daily needs, then you will lose that fat, okay? So send this to anybody that you feel will benefit, like and share if you can, and I'll see you in the next video where we will be shifting gears and going in another direction. See you then. Bye-bye.